Right. And as soon as they won, I was like, I wonder what excuses they're gonna make now. Right. I mean, I know.
I'm only kidding.
And I don't mean to sound idealistic, but God, they are backing away so fast from like, well, come on. What year are you gonna do a raise in the grant? It's 27 years? Really? When are you gonna do it? And they are backing away so fast, the people who should be just on this, and I'm livid.
Even John Barty's saying we shouldn't do single payer this year. That's how bad it's gotten.
Oh, I talked to him about that, and the reason they're not gonna do that is they've gotta work on the other part of the stuff that's healthcare related and get that in place, and they'll be more active in their healthcare bill pushing it for in about 2 years.
The thing is
Because
that
they've gotta get I forget all the details of the federal plan, they've gotta get that working, and then they can talk about changing it.
That's the most ridiculous distraction.
Sack of shit excuse I've ever heard in
The
my life.
healthcare exchange is like hiring a personal shopper to read your health, all these different plans. And you don't need different plans, you need one plan. There's one human body, cover all illness, all injury.
Yeah, in
That's
principle, you're
I
right.
think we should do facilitation, otherwise I feel like voices are not being heard.
That's
People
not
are
true.
supposed to jump in.
But it's not true that the president's, whatever it's called, is doing no good. I go to Maria's restaurant a lot and talked to a lady there, and she told me how that really saved the day for her.
I think they can even hide it.
Well-
You can't hide behind police officers for much longer, just saying politicians.
Well, look what they did in Wisconsin.
Yeah.
Look what they did inside the Capitol people. That was outrageous. I mean, why are we not all rioting?
And I wanna know, oh, sorry,
Go ahead.
I wanna know what they were thinking, putting their hands on native drummers in the sacred ceremony.
Yes.
They
Yeah.
weren't thinking.
Just
Yeah.
what the hell
I
their
wrote about
thought
that in the
process
story.
was.
They weren't thinking, that's the issue.
That is not okay, that needs to be brought to their attention, that was wrong.
That's in my work.
Got the footage of it if you want it.
Yes, we would like.
That was right
Did you
next
get
to it.
footage of it?
I got him like manhandling them too with the drummer and everything.
Yeah, like a book or
Oh,
something,
you're
right?
kidding.
No, I was next to it. I saw them walking over, so I followed him.
Good.
Yeah, Marty got the aerial view.
Oh, okay.
So did that get the aerial view get recorded of the?
Yep.
Good.
So it'll be on the website.
Toby and Nick, I think, have that.
Who does?
Toby.
Okay,
Yeah,
we'll post it.
yeah, Marty has it, I don't know if he's got it up yet or not.
Do we want to just do a kind of a summation of yesterday, or?
So I think opening day went awesome, and I just wanted to say a little bit about, so today I went to go see committee meetings, but they were there. But I did get these lovely things there that I thought everyone would like. These House of Representatives coloring book. And, the House of Representatives puzzle book.
Ooh.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, that's a good one. It's got some hard questions in it. And I also got this really helpful Follow That Bill pamphlet. I'll pass it around. If somebody really wants it, they can have it. I'll bring some more back tomorrow. If anybody wants more, so I'll keep them here. That's all.
Thank you for doing that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Perhaps I'm off point here, but it occurs to me that in all these years, they haven't done anything. So maybe we, and I don't mean to tell the Welfare Rights Committee what they ought to do and all, it's not where I'm coming from. Should make it, sure, no offense, but maybe we should make it impossible for them to do their work. Unless they give us what we want. We could sit in at their meetings and stuff. You should up the ante a bit here.
Yeah.
'Cause it is outrageous.
It's all smoke.
Bring the drums.
That's right.
Drums are really
Just
electric
throwing it out
yesterday.
there.
Were you deadline?
Huh?
Were you deadline?
Yeah, I sure am.
Who was wanting to speak over here? Was that
What
Libby?
drums?
Did you?
I just said bring the drums.
Yeah.
Bring them all.
Bring the giant puppets.
I heard on the radio that their agenda is to work on the budget. raise the minimum wage to $7.50
Oh,
with
smashing. Good God.
with an automatic cost of living increase for subsequent years.
Oh, lovely.
And,
That went well, of course. Never catch up.
oh, there was a third thing.
Oh, great.
But they had this really modest agenda.
Very.
But I think I'm gonna write letters to newspapers and say, the people set the agenda. The people said that we've taken care of the rich man stadium. We need to take care of the safety net and make sure that everyone can survive without fear and lack of dignity. And we need to address the energy issues and not allow the fossil fuel corporations to spoil this state. I mean, just our agenda didn't even show up on their agenda.
No.
They were totally
No.
ignoring us.
Yeah.
And that's why I had a question about the media, because even the uptake had some shots of us, but they had a pretty lengthy, different than what Chuck said. They have an interview with Marty that says he's going to introduce Minnesota healthcare this year. But I don't know, I should probably see if he was couching his terms. But there still is this, early on, we need to set the agenda. Right now, I think we need to state what our agenda was.
Yeah, I mean, last year, there's 3 of us that shut down a bill to go through the public safety committee
Yep.
about a fusion center. I mean, it took 3 of us sitting in like 3 committee meetings and giving dirty looks to Stanek and having, Dan speak once and like shut it down. I plan on being there any days that I can, and I have the event calendar of when they each meet, each of the committees, and I've highlighted what I will be attending, and if anyone ever wants to join me or pick something that a different committee that you would like to kind of keep an eye on, like just having someone else, they definitely notice someone different in these meetings. They definitely do, and it makes them very nervous, and I think we need to do that more.
Where did you get that?
This I got at the Capitol. I have an extra one.
Yeah.
I'll pass it around.
Oh.
And you can have this one, okay?
Thank you, dear.
And yeah, the highlighted ones where I'm going to be there, and I will be there Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So if people want, I think it's a great idea to go and harass them in their own houses, in their own offices.
You get them in the Secretary of State's office, right beside it.
Can you set up a thing where people can, in some way people can find out, a Facebook page, or what do you
Sure.
do? Facebook. So,
Just
Dad was doing that Fed bugs.
Yeah, he was.
He's
Yeah.
doing too many
He's
things.
doing too many things right now. He's overwhelmed. I will put something together. I'll try to put like a calendar and like a list of events, and like as they start releasing bills and I start getting interested in what I would like to tackle, and like I feel like if we have a few people scouting and then finding out when bad stuff is going on, then that's when we can reach out and be like, okay, people, we need to pack this room on this day. But we need to do that. We need to do that research. So I can just add it, but I think maybe this space would be a good place to keep like a hard copy of it, like out there.
Sorry, we jumped stack.
Okay.
Sorry, Loki.
No, it's
You-
okay.
I was pointing at you earlier.
I had something to say towards what you said about raising the minimum wage and all that stuff, and I have a job at Subway downtown, and they actually have this stupid downtown tax because of the dome. And it's ridiculous, cause it's like 40 cents more for everything. And since we work per hour, we don't, for like the healthcare thing, they cut our hours. You can't go over 28 hours because they're not gonna give you healthcare. How stupid is that? And they're doing it at Taco Bell, they're doing it at like restaurant areas everywhere. unless you're like a waitress or something, you can't work over 20 hours. So now they're cutting everyone's hours and like all this shit. Like, how the fuck is anyone supposed to, excuse me for my words, to live off that?
That's appropriate use of that word.
God,
Completely
it's so
appropriate.
stupid.
It's a capitalist cult.
Exactly. It's a big fucking circle jerk.
Even the sports,
Oh, with, like,
going
money in it.
overboard on sports downtown, oh my god.
Huh?
It's a cult,
Yeah.
because people need to balance out what their interests are.
I just found out about this downtown tax. Like, what is that? Like, why do you have to tax other people, like, up the yin yang? Like, Lunds is doing it, the bars are doing it.
How much is it?
Huh?
The state?
It's like 40 cents or something. It's
That's
like
like 2.4%.
something like that. For anything. Like, if
40
you.
cents on
a
the
dollar.
purchase. That's usually a percentage, like.
It's like 2.4%.
Yeah.
Extra tax downtown?
Something strange like that, yeah.
No, there's like, if you go online, they show you a direct area of which parts have this downtown tax. And I think we should look more into that and
And what
see
is
if we
that
can
for?
stop it. I don't, the dome they're trying to build or something?
It's probably.
Is that what it is? What do you say?
Yeah,
Well, that tax was originally for the Metrodome, and it was downtown area, and there's also an extra entertainment tax, so some places get both. And that was, the dome was paid off, so they moved that over to support the convention center, which is what it's doing now. And it's been renewed through 2045 for the Viking Stadium.
Yeah.
Right, so, and once they sell the bonds and do all that kind of stuff, they have to do that because that's what pays off the bonds. So, rich people who buy bonds are being guaranteed that money to pay off the stadium, which is subsidized to another rich person. It's all within the scheme of what we're talking about in the last year and a half.
The only trouble is that downtown is.
That's why I brought it up, because I was like, wait, hold on, are you fucking kidding me? You're, like, what is this subway different from another subway? And I've worked at 5 stores in my 6th month of working there, like.
So I want to say, who is still waiting to be on stack? I and myself,
I need to go on it again.
Mike.
I'm done, sorry, I just
Okay.
wanted to mention that.
Thank you. I just wanted to say, I thought yesterday was tremendous, just going back to summing up. I think that, we've been there like every year on opening day. It was just incredible to have so many people at the Capitol on that day. And throughout the day, for like the whole day. And like I said, SEIU was doing kind of lobbying, so they pulled up early and they were there too. So there was just, the Capitol was filled with people and it was tremendous. It was really, really wonderful. I was really happy with our action. I thought it was really strong in the end. It got a little confusing because we were kind of doing too many things at once and, in hindsight, it probably wasn't the best way to structure the day, but I think it worked out and it was really, people were really psyched about it and welfare rights. But I just wanted to say one more thing about the legislation. The reason, one about this welfare rights legislation, the reason they're backing away so fast is because they can actually do it. They could actually do it this year. Because the money's there, everything, because it's federal money that they've just siphoned off to pay for other things. It isn't even like they have to come up with state dollars for a welfare grant increase. They just have to give back the money that they have taken away. But there's nonprofits that have their hands in that pocket. There's just all kinds of politics at play. But the reality is the Democrats could actually do it, and they do not want to do it. And that's why they are trying to not do it. They don't even want it. What we're getting the sense, because before they had control, they were all like, oh, yeah, our allies. And now that they have complete control over there to a certain degree, have the majority,
Now they're backing away because they actually could make it happen. And it's just an exposure of this whole system. It just is so disgusting to me that, you know, and we know it, but yet you still like go, God damn it, it's 27 years. People can't even afford housing. You know? This is outrageous. You can't even afford. Kids are, you know, the number of kids homeless is like skyrocketing in this state. And a lot of it is because of this, because that grant keeps you 70% below the poverty level.
And they give themselves raises.
And they give themselves raises. So I'm so outraged. You know, even the progressives, it's just like, you know, that are supposed to be more progressive are just like, they're all stepping in line, to step away from anything real happening. Yeah, a minimum wage at $7.50, what the hell is that? That's nothing progressive, you know? And then the final thing I just want to say is, on the energy thing, I hope that the tar sands folks want to do legislation, because that makes, whether you agree with doing stuff at the Capitol, or that creates a battle and a debate. It really does. It starts to create this momentum that is really, well, or just doing direct action is even better. But that's just one avenue, and I'll shut up. So then I had Mike, and then Tom, and then Ryan, and then, who did I miss over there, Chuck? Did someone raise their hand that I missed? I got you. No one over there? Okay. Sorry.
All right, no, thank you, Deb, for wonderful summation. And I love that Dave Vicky makes a statement of, you know, now that the Democrats have the governor, the House, and the Senate, what the hell is their excuse going to be? Because we know it's coming. And I will tell you, I feel a little sense of very personal vindication on this one. You know, like seriously, right? Yeah. As far as the event was concerned, I was so delighted at what went on at the Capitol. I was so delighted. And the Welfare Rights Committee were doing, you guys were doing your thing, and Ed and Lamore came in, and they kind of joined together. Then you guys went off to the governor's office, and then he went upstairs, and we did the drum circle downstairs, and the report. And by the way, just so you know, I actually did a story on Twin Cities Indie Media on the whole elections yesterday. Welfare Rights and the Ed and Lamore. It's going to be on the Daily Planet in the Free Speech Zone, which is the only place where it really belongs. And I took a great delight, by the way, in ripping the star treatment of New Asshole. And very publicly, and I named the name, because they had an article today that was a goddamn fluff piece of what happened to the Capitol.
You can get away with anything when you wrap yourself in a flag the way you do.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Yes, I did wrap myself in the flag, yeah. Thank you for helping with that.
The Irish flag.
Yeah. And just on that particular point, I did that very deliberately because Teresa Spence is on hunger strike.
Yeah.
Right. I'm an Irishman who lived in Northern Ireland during the hunger strikes. I did that flag very deliberately for that reason.
Yeah.
And just on an update on that, by the way, I've just heard that this is day 30 today.
31.
31? Day 31 now. But the one good thing I got in her hunger strike is that she's taken fish broth. Fish broth does give you some, protein and some of the omega fats. So at this stage in hunger strike, I know a lot about hunger strikes. At this stage in hunger strikes, where it's a water only fast, you start to suffer permanent damage at this point. I'm on day 30 when the permanent damage. Brendan Hughes, Big Hughes, actually suffered till the day he died. He died when he was 59. He went on hunger strike for 35 days. So that was why I brought the Irish flag, by the way. So very deliberate on my doing that. I will tell you that and this is my quick report back, which is in the story, by the way. At the Isle of Moore, we had the drum circle, went inside into the rotunda, did the drum circle. And then security came and asked the drum circle to leave. Everybody went outside. We kind of did a drum circle outside, and I was kind of like standing around and talking and watching. And then we decided to do it again. And we actually went inside, back into the Capitol after being told to leave. And we very consciously, very deliberately, we linked arms around the drummers. And it was a very deliberate message of, fuck you, you're not touching these people. And it was wonderful because we then did our song. Security came buzzing around a little bit, but not really a whole lot. And my sense is that they did not want a whole bunch of pissed off Indians in that room. That's why they stayed away, and I was like really happy to see that. So that was like, I felt like it was a real, very important symbolic victory of fuck you. And I'll just end with this here, is that the idea of going there and breaking up the committee meetings. Stop pretending that these people are our friends. We have a few friends. We have a few friends. Very, very few friends. And even the few friends that we have aren't really standing up for us right now. So maybe we need to start approaching these people like this is where I've been saying from some time, they're not our elected officials. They're their corporate selected officials. And we need to be treating them that way. They're not friends, they're not allies. There are people that we can squeeze their you-know-whats. So I'll leave it at that.
Okay, I have Tom, and then, can I just see what's that? I have Tom, and then Liz, then Jan. Is anyone else not spoken that wants to be on stack? Yes.
Okay, I'm gonna filibuster, so mine never gets.
We have a stack.
Okay, I want
Um,
So there's Tom, then Lion, then Liz, Jan, and then Nina.
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
I just had a quick question. Well, I didn't interrupt you for the question. Do we have anybody to introduce a bill that increases the welfare grants? Or somehow, from what I understand, if somebody's getting food stamps, if they're getting welfare grants, if they're on Section 8, if they have Minnesota Care, they can kind of survive, almost. But you have to have all those things in order, and you have to, every month you have to go fill out forms for one or the other of them, and so it's a really complicated month. But is there any one person that we've identified, Karen Clark or John Marty or anybody
Should I
that?
do a direct response?
Well, I'm asking you a direct
Yeah, well,
question.
the bills are written. We have a bill to double, to increase by 75% and to increase by 50%. Double was our goal, because that's what the cost of living has done. And we have been meeting, and our ally that we thought would take it, Hayden, is backpedaling. Where he's carried stuff in the past. And we're still working on people in the house. So yeah, we're already talking to people. But I'm just saying, the resistance is much greater than I expected from people who should be carrying these bills. You know what I mean?
Okay, so.
They're
I
all
guess-
saying, oh, I'm in leadership, I can't do it. Oh, I'm chairing the committee, I'm not offering bills.
Yeah, I just question that because we have to galvanize around an idea, and the idea that this legislature just took care of a billionaire and took care of people's, you gotta bring that stadium thing right back in their face, because that's why Republicans didn't get elected. And so we need to track how to push that idea down. February 6th, the State of the State address is just announced that, and it's gonna be in the evening when Dayton does that.
Yeah,
So
we
that
always do
that only gives us 3 weeks to plan another big action, but that's what we have to do, is we have to push our agenda. And the other thing is, I didn't get that information sheet that Kathy was handing around about Public Utilities Commission. But those are the 2 things that we set on that agenda, and I believe, within 2 weeks, definitely that 3rd week, we need to, again, mobilize in numbers and increase our numbers to push our agenda, to say, no, this is, you wanna push this minimum wage, push it to 10.
That's what Ralph Nader's going for.
Raise is ridiculous.
Okay,
When was the State of the State address? I just want to write it up here.
February 6th. And we're already planning to be there. But that would be great to have the energy, the safety net. It's all tied in together, you
Yeah.
know? It really is. Okay, I'm gonna call on, the next one was Lion. And then, I'm gonna jump to Anita after that because she hasn't spoken. Okay.
Hi, everybody again, just talking again about this stuff. You know, raised in 27 years. I think we're not thinking deeply enough about it. In that, you say, here are all these folks that were supportive, but said they couldn't do anything because there's Republicans here and there, and now that there aren't any Republicans there, they're coming up with all sorts of other lame-ass excuses. What's really going on? Whose ox is being gored? Follow the money. What is the real deal here? I don't think we're talking about the real deal, the real reason why this hasn't happened in 27 years. On the surface, it seems like a good idea if you're one of them capitalist scum. Check it out.
Got lots of digs tonight.
I know,
This is.
If you give these families more money, they're not gonna bank it. They're gonna go out and spend it on food, on, you know, probably some at Walmart and so on, but on the surface, it seems like it would be good for those folks, these poor people to have more money to spend. And yet, there's still all this opposition for bourgeois reasons, like I'm too busy, I have a bad hair day, you know, got hemorrhoids, whatever. I really should I hear you
I
say
missed you, Lion.
I'm just one of them booty occupiers.
She's finance meetings were interesting. Oh, wow. Anyway.
They were fun. So what's the backstory? What is really going on? Because if you starve people, you radicalize them. So it doesn't make any sense on the surface for this not to have been pushed through ages ago. So I just ask everybody to think about it. There's something more than what we see. There's something more than other groups being first in line and getting the money. There's something really basic that we're not getting in this budget. Throw it out for everybody to think about.
Anita, and then it's Liz and Dan and. Did you have your hand up before? Oh, okay.
I was just like putting the drums. That's
okay.
what I'm gonna keep saying.
Anita.
Go ahead and.
Every time.
Well, I wanted to add on to what, Mike had to say, and I know you were pertaining to the large gathering. There's been a series of things going on with Ojibwe Anishinaabe involvement with putting down the oil industry for all their offenses. But I think with those coalitions, we can do a lot. Right? And that's one of the reasons why I was so thrilled to come here tonight, because I've seen all that action going on, and I think we should all have our input and be added to that whole coalition of people for everything that we're striving for. And to mention, the Irish had the same plight as Native Americans, and when he told me about the U.S. flag, we're living in a time now that's past all of the civil rights movements, and we won a seat in government, and we have won our rights to live and believe the way we want as Native Americans. And now it's time to share all of our wonderful knowledge and history, because it's been kept from all of us. Because of
because of a WASP attitude.
Right.
You know, and so, you know, that's gonna be, you know, it's gonna be, there's gonna be a great deal of, good direction for our children to achieve well. Because if they're sitting in a classroom and they want you to know how many slaves there were, or how much genocide was committed on Native Americans, they are going to raise hell in that classroom, and they're gonna say, hey, teach us about African Americans, teach us about Native Americans, because there was a time when Native Americans could not practice their beliefs or have their social dances, their wachipis, you know, where their families got together to have a dance, have the dances, unless they wore the American flag. They had to have the American flag in their beaver or in their costumes, or I call them dance regalia, but they had to celebrate being an American before they could do that. So it was kind of a controlled setting.
Colonization.
So anytime you see any of that, when you're looking at history books or you're looking online, that's what that was. That's what that was. We couldn't celebrate, and we had missionaries nearby punishing us for speaking our language. If they heard us wanting to plan a Sundance ceremony, they would immediately, somebody would maybe even be beaten to death, you know, things like that. So this is, I think these are exciting times for everybody, you know, a lot of resistance and gathering in numbers. There's no reason why we couldn't plan a big hullabaloo right there. You know, we rushed the tribal council at Standing Rock, and we got what we wanted. And so there's no reason why we can't do that. You know, to name those politicians. Hey, so-and-so, we're not gonna vote for you in the next election, and this is why. And just put it out there with numbers of people and see what happens, you know? I mean, that's my type of action.
I like it.
Yeah, that's just
Okay.
All right, yeah.
Yeah, sorry. What was I gonna say? I'm trying to think. Oh yeah, I wanted to talk about more about putting pressure on. I had a similar question to Tom did, like who do we put pressure on to get these bills introduced exactly? Like, is there any like committee that we can pressure? Can we like go around having it introduced? Can we introduce it to them ourselves and say,
Can we break out
this
that?
is what we want? What?
Can we talk about that in a breakout, maybe with Deb? Because I'd like to do that too. I'd like to talk to my personal representative in my center and have them look me in the eye and say, no, I'm not gonna do that.
Yeah. Okay. I can jump for that.
Liz, if you wanna come by the house, Karen lives like 4 blocks from me. And I talk to her with Carrie Ann all the time.
Karen Clark?
Yeah.
I don't know if Karen Clark would carry that. I don't know.
She would gladly carry it. She's the one outstanding that will do.
That's, yeah,
But she's not on the committee.
That's what I'm saying, yeah.
Oh.
So if we don't get someone on the committee to carry it, I think we will get Patty Fritz.
What committee is it?
It's the Health and Human Services. There's
Is that
policy,
policy?
and every, there's, and we could do like kind of a whole like tall bill, a lot, because we've done bills every year, but policy committee and finance committee division, in each house, there's the House and then the Senate. You need a bill in each body. So we have all the bills, they're written, they're jacketed, they're ready to go for signatures. what we need is the authors, and that's what we were thinking Hayden would do, and is not going to do.
Yeah.
Or says, or is, he hasn't said no, but it's clear, he's
Yeah.
not gonna do it.
I also, and I also just wanted to say too that like, I don't know if these politicians realize that the average age of a homeless person in Minnesota is 7 years old. 7 years old is the average age of a homeless person in Minnesota, so like, that is something that needs to be more widely put out there. I worked in homeless shelters and it is sad. It is very sad. So, I mean, they've opened up hotels downtown Minneapolis just for homeless families in them. And, yeah. And then also I just wanted to say too, like, I think Monday at the Capitol was awesome. I was really happy to see all of it. And I saw online today, I wanted to bring it here, like this Saturday from 11 to 1, we're having like a social, like everyone just like come here and like talk about what we can do, to like what bills need to be written, who we need to talk to, what we need to keep doing and putting pressure on these representatives and stuff. So I just wanted to put that out there, that
Where
is
is that
something
gonna be?
here.
Well, that's right during our meeting.
That's the Welfare Rights Committee.
Oh, I think Kim put it out.
Oh,
She put it.
Who?
Yeah, I saw it online today, I got invited to it, from 11 to 1.
oh, that's our meeting.
Oh,
Then you're very welcome to come.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I just saw it and I was like, that's a great idea.
Yeah.
Kim DeFranco.
Yeah.
In the Franco, yeah.
okay. Well, if she put it out, she must have been aware.
Yeah. It's well for this meeting, but it's, you know, that is where we talk about like the legislation and stuff.
Okay.
But, yeah. Cool. So people come that wanna talk about other legislation, we can break out in our office.
Awesome.
You know, 'cause we have that space.
So I think that'd be good to keep the momentum going.
Yeah.
I think that's all I had.
Jan?
Yeah, I totally loved the Capitol, experience, especially enjoyed the native music, and loved hearing, Patricia speak Ojibwe because it's a really beautiful language, and I even understood a little bit of it. That was really cool, and I think I learned a little bit how to do the native dancing, because I've been watching it for years and I couldn't figure out, because I feel like it's a way of talking to the earth, kind of, but I couldn't figure out the rhythm of it, you know, and yesterday, I think I got it. But anyway, neither here nor there. I have to say that I'm behind Lion in thinking more deeply about why this crap's going on, why for 27 years have we not been able to get, you know, a decent check for people who are living without much of a safety net. Okay, so one of my things is I feel like 1% and a lot of these people who you know are in power, who hold offices, are way overpaid. They don't have really much contact with reality. Dave and I usually go to the homeless march. We didn't go this year, but there's one person who showed at least one official, John Marty, who virtually always shows up there. But I think that some of them, underneath it all, really have a certain attitude, which is this thing of thinking deeper about it, that people who are poor actually deserve it because of something they screwed up with God or something. God doesn't like, I hate to say this, but I am gonna say it, I'm gonna put it out there, that it has religious underpinnings, and that God rewards people materially, and those who aren't rewarded are on God's shit list. So I'm just putting that out, you know, I don't want to offend anybody who's religious, but I really think we have to think about these
That's
things.
an actual Calvinist doctrine.
Yes, exactly. Calvinism, yep. Yeah, so, and we have to think about what is our, do we really feel like, I've asked on the issues list many a time, you know, who doesn't deserve a home and food? You know, it's like, and why? Well, I never get an answer to that though. And it's the same with officials, they're not going to respond to us, so I'm sort of like, I think it's wonderful that you're thinking about bills and trying to get those through, but I don't know, something, I think we gotta try it. But I don't really have much hope for it, because I think that if they give us something, like if they were to give us, healthcare, across the board, no questions asked, I'm not gonna send you a bill, you walk into a place, I'm gonna give you preventative medicine, that would rock this country, because people would quit their stupid ass jobs and work for healthcare, because that's why most people are working. They work to get healthcare for their family, and again, it's a weird game to try to figure out why they're doing it, because the healthcare benefits at work keep getting slashed and cut, and what is the point after a while? They really should keep a little bit of a carrot out there for us, but they seem to not care. It's really weird. You really wonder what is going on. It don't make no sense any way you look at it. So that's my 2 cents, which was a lot more than 2 cents.
Can I see who was, and who else did I miss anyone who wanted to be on stack? I wanted to be on stack.
Loki, did you want to be on
Is there
stack?
someone else?
No.
Okay. Go ahead
Part
with
of what
the
I was saying also, some bunch of fat cats somewhere are making money off the fact the welfare grants aren't being raised. To our day, how does that work?
Yep.
It's non-profits.
Pathological greed.
You say it's the nonprofits. Sorry.
So it was Eric, and then myself, and then, did you run out? Okay, and then Tom?
Thank you. I wanted to give like a kind of a meta response to this conversation, which is like, I'm in support of supporting the people that need support. I hope everybody here believes that and knows that. At the same time, like, I always am a little worried that every time we talk about going to the Capitol or going to the City Hall or going to some seat of power, that by us doing that, providing our energy to that entity, that institution, we are validating, someone's whispered it, validating the power of that institution. And I just want to say and remind people that there are many people that feel that those places of power are illegitimate. And so I think a lot of people here are aware of that, but I just want to remind folks that, like, I think those institutions are never going to really be our allies. So we need to figure out ways, like what we do every Wednesday night when we come here, and we, especially some people are providing a lot of, support for the community. And these are the kinds of things that we can do that don't support that process that the 1% basically controls. So I just wanted to throw that out there. Thank you.
I guess I'm next. So now this is going to sound weird after that. Because I agree, I don't disagree at all.
I know you don't.
It's just that we kind of have to fight there,
Right.
Because, and just to say that, like, for so many years, welfare rights has been fighting terrible attacks, so we haven't even been able to focus on raising the grant sets. We haven't even taken it up because we've been fighting the 5-year limit, the sanctions, the cuts into the little bit of cash grant there is. They've actually cut from that little bit. It's not even that much. If you get sanctioned, you can be cut off 30%, 90%. If you're in subsidized housing, you lose $50 of that every month. It's just like the attacks on this point of 1/10 of 1%. That's what state dollars go to a cash grant, 1/10 of 1%. And the amount of effort that's gone into gut that, it's atrocious. the attacks on poor families in this state is atrocious, and it's not just here, it's, you know, it's all over and on a national level. When Clinton, thank you, the Democrats bring in the worst things, brought in welfare reform, you know, deform. I mean, we fought against, I did a hunger strike down at the federal building in St. Paul for a week around that one, you know, and it's just, it's atrocious. I just wanted to say too, we went to our first strategy in this was we protested at the governor's office, we demanded meetings, because we're trying to get Dayton to put it in his budget, an actual grant increase. And because he's, you know, he says he wants to tax the rich, and we brought up the stadium, so now you can give back to the poor. You gave all this money to a billionaire, give money to poor families. So, and then in response to Liz's thing, you know, like the energy committee, there's a committee on energy and resources for all of this, for the tar sands and the pipeline, and, you know, and then just if there is an effort, you know, which is contrary to what Eric just said, but if people want that to have a debate at the Capitol, and there's, you know, you just see who's on that committee, find out who might be the one, you know, who might be open to sponsoring such a bill that would say, end this, you know, stop the increase as a beginning, and then we can go further, or stop the pipe, or whatever. Don't let Keystone, you know, do that pipeline, whatever. So that's just kind of looking at who's on the committees and seeing who the allies are and all of that.
Can I just quickly directly respond to that?
Yeah, and then let me see.
Everyone down this.
You guys are all direct response. Paula, you got a direct response?
Oh,
yeah. I was doing this too.
Okay. I was just gonna say that, like, we don't even have any power in the legislature right now with the pipeline. Like, the people that have the decision-making power in this are the PUC, who are people who are just. Who are they?
Who are their bosses, though?
Mark Daly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, these commissioners are appointed, and
Yeah.
so that is another battle, because we can't even fight it at the legislature.
Yeah.
That was my direct response to what can we do at work committee, because we don't have one.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Well, I talked to Karen Clark last week, I think it was, and she said something about the head of the Energy Commission is a conservative Democrat. She said Gene Wagenius is on the Finance Committee and might give you much more information about what's actually happening.
Who's that?
Gene Wagenius.
Genius, yeah.
And then before I forget it, there's a meeting Sunday, I think. Kathy and a couple people are going over this 60-page bill about Enbridge pipeline.
They're going over what?
They're going over a 60-page document about the Enbridge pipeline to try to figure out how to write comments. So you might want to, if anybody really wants to.
They're trying to figure out how to write comments?
No, they're going
What?
over what comments to say.
I was like,
how to
how do you
comment,
teach
but it's a
them
lot
how
of
to do
research.
60
And if anybody
pages?
wants to really dig into research,
Yeah.
call Kathy and she'll tell you where the meeting is. Otherwise,
You gotta volunteer there.
they're gonna try to draft
Volunteer.
comments, yeah.
Sorry, I like investigating shit.
Yes.
Stuff's so much fun.
It is fun.
Yeah, you get to pull up so much crap, especially with Lowell's case.
Don't ask us to bring you stool samples.
What? I just got that. Anyways, Marty from yesterday was, and yeah, I don't know if you guys, there's like a treaty thing being down in South Dakota going on. With all of like the head elders. I don't know if I'm just announcing this to everyone. I was talking to him about it, and he's like, it's about stopping the pipeline and having like the reservation people, like all of the indigenous people come together, because it's a 3-day block and they cannot come onto the land after that, or something like that. But he was explaining that we need people to go down to South Dakota for this treaty meeting thing, and it would be fun, I guess.
Sounds fun.
He said he was.
When is it and where is
He said
it?
he's gonna send me the email. Gillette also knows a bunch of things about it. It's either 25th to the 28th
I don't remember.
this month.
God damn it.
Wagenius.
Is there direct response
So-
to more going down?
Now, are you,
That's like, yeah.
okay, and then I saw, was it
Eventually,
Dave, and
when
then
we're
Mike,
past
and
the
then Jan, and
direct
then
responses.
Nicole. Are there other direct responses?
Yeah, something or other.
Okay.
I just have a clarifying question. Is that relating to tar sands pipeline?
I believe so.
Okay.
It has something to, there's information being brought out, like, where the places are going to be throughout, like, the United States, of like,
Bridge.
when they're gonna do blockades of their own, like, everywhere. They're planning all that down in South Dakota where all the blockades are gonna be. And I'm damn straight going down there to go check this out. If my boyfriend's down in Texas and he got arrested, I'm gonna go down there and get some fucking information for all this other shit, so.
Why don't you update that while you've.
He's
Oh,
out.
yes, right.
He's out.
Oh, he's out.
Hey.
They got pissed drunk, so he went, after he got out, he called me at like 3 o'clock in the morning, and like they're just excited for everyone to be safe and all this stuff, and
What was his bail?
500.
500.
Oh, really? Criminal trespass?
Yep.
Yeah.
Allegedly?
Protesting.
Yep, they're protesting. Yeah, but
That's
he,
funny.
one of the things is, they don't have lawyers. Some of them don't have lawyers down there to represent everyone. So as of right now, what I did is I called Bill Tilton, and he dug up like 45 lawyers down in Houston to help represent them down there.
Awesome.
And Bill was like,
Can we
and I was
update
like,
on the action too?
Yeah.
Can you talk about the action?
oh gosh,
It's been a week. Yeah.
it was just a sit-in, and what building was that?
Tars.
Go ahead.
Trans-Canada?
TransCanada,
With
so
the
the
office.
TransCanada office in Houston,
Yeah.
which is responsible for the construction, they're hiring all the construction companies to do all the work on the tar sands, in that area. So they did a sit-in there and they left like large balloons full of sand in their lobby and stuff, black balloons. And, some people walked down, I
They
don't
were
know.
posting shit everywhere.
Yeah, it was everywhere. And then yesterday, they went back and they laid on the sidewalks with like, gravestones behind them, locked arms and laid down and stuff. There's been actions going on in TransCanada locations all over the United States this week. It was like a mass day of action, so.
Can you find out more about this?
So they go to tarsandsblockade.org.
Yep, tarsandsblockade.org.
Everything that you're talking about?
Oh, I'm gonna have to look up more information on that. I still haven't gotten anything back from Marty, but I'll come back next week.
Yeah.
Or send you an email. I have your email.
Yeah, it's time is short, there's nothing
Oh, and there's two new tree sets up down there.
Nice.
Tree sets?
Yep.
Awesome.
Wow, cool.
So Dave, and then it was Mike, and then your hand, Jan, and then
I got
Sam.
you want, I'm sorry,
Oh,
why
sorry.
didn't you go, because you haven't.
Oh, on this topic, I got those solar panels from the plaza still, and I think we should get them down there.
Yeah.
Because I don't want them just to sit in my old apartment entryway for much longer, because they could be charging up whatever they need.
Yes.
Their list of needs is still huge, and this would help out with a few
Are
of
those
them.
batteries too?
No. Someone stole them, like,
Okay.
straight up.
Just solar panels and no batteries.
I got the solar panels and the alternator.
Sweet, okay.
Could fly them, but I can't get them into the airport.
Awesome. Okay, then Dave, and then Mike, and then Jan, and then I'll call myself.
Yeah, well, I've been sitting here thinking about a number of these things, particularly I appreciate Lion bringing up the idea about there being more behind it. It's really true, and it's important to think about that, because on the surface of it, it's so little money relative to the other things this place does. Yeah, it would be a boost to the economy, it would help landlords, it would help grocery stores, I don't know what else and stuff. So, yeah, there obviously is something more going on to this. And, you know, in some areas and some issues, I feel like they have a pretty damn good handle on what's going on behind the scenes. This one is a little harder, because, yeah, but in the end, boy, so much of it's about control. And control over the working class. When you get to the point, you know, the old reserve army of the unemployed,
Yeah.
the old threat of this is what happens if you quit your job, you'll wind up like this, is a lot of it. And that's not the feeling of most of the individual legislators, including the ones who acted like they were for our friends until they could do something. You know, in their cases, I think many of them actually, you know, on a personal level agree, not all of them, but they also see, they clearly, because of what they say in public, they believe that their constituency is behind them. Certainly the Democratic legislators for the, you know, the cities themselves have a constituency who they know is on that right side. And yet they still won't step up to help. You know, and you know, we need to pressure them, but they're obviously getting pressure from elsewhere, and that's probably coming from the leadership of the party. The leadership of the party, which is very much in with the Chamber of Commerce and the Wall Street and all that kind of stuff. And they clearly are. How exactly they control that in the state legislature is something I think it would be good to know more about. It'd be good to know a little bit about what interests those are. But yeah, but that means that, you know, we have to approach most of the state legislature as our enemy rather than our ally in this, and treat them as such. And that brings to, you know, Eric's point about that. And I don't consider myself an anarchist, so I have a slightly different analysis of that, yet the legitimacy of that is absolutely true. I mean, these are not legitimate institutions. And I do feel bad about going to them and, you know, leading people into the fray with illusions like that. But people come with their own illusions already.
Yeah.
And it's by leading them into the fray that they lose those illusions.
Yeah.
Except through action. You know, you can have educational forums up the yin-yang, and those are good. But until people get involved in action, they don't really understand what's going on. They really don't internalize it. And some of us, you know, I mean, 40 years of seeing this, and I'm still sometimes surprised that how nasty the system is and how hard it is to do anything within it. But I think one part of it is, you talk about, we reinforce the legitimacy of the system, and depending on how we approach it, I don't think we're doing that. We're acknowledging the power of the system. If somebody is beating you over the head with a stick, and you defend yourself, and the legislature is absolutely beating us to a pulp here. You know, as an institution, they are doing that. If somebody's beating you over the head with a stick, fighting back against it doesn't acknowledge their legitimacy. It acknowledges their power, and it acknowledges our need to do something about it. So if we lead people into these struggles because and enforce the legitimacy of the organization, then absolutely your critique is correct. But if we lead them to a struggle and say this is where the power is, and it's time, until we confront it, you know, that the fist doesn't come out of the velvet glove until we confront it. And the power looks legitimate until it comes out and, you know, beats you over the head, quite literally. I mean, Occupy knows about that. And, or, you know, does these kind of things and shows that it's not about what it says it's about. And so that difference between the legitimacy and the power, I think, is maybe helps resolve that very difficult conflict.
That was really nice.
Just a few thoughts about this.
Thank you.
Mike, and then Dan.
Well, Jesus Christ, he just said everything I was gonna say. No, actually, all kidding aside, almost literally. I'm with a slightly different twist on it, but in fact, I was gonna answer to what Eric was saying about, you know, how we approach the people of the Capitol and whether we recognize the legitimacy of the people at the state capitol. And I don't know whether you know this or not, Eric, but what you just said is standard Irish Republican ideology, so to speak. That you absolutely refuse to recognize the legitimacy of the state because the state has been illegally imposed. And putting that into this context that we're in here in the United States, we're in corporate occupied America. And I can't even be a native having this conversation. How would a native look at St. Paul right now? Completely illegitimate state. But what you said was, like I said, was standard Republican ideology. And just for the record, people who don't understand this, Irish Republicanism is not about armed struggle. It is not simply about the issue of, you know, whether we should fight with armed struggle or not, but it's whether you actually recognize the legitimacy of the state and what kind of state are you actually trying to create. That's the truth about Irish Republicanism. It's not just about picking up a gun and fighting, or not picking up a gun and fighting. So, you know, as you talk about this, this is kind of where I'm coming from when I'm saying this. how do we approach the legislators right now? And this is just me talking, but we don't go there approach them saying, well, you know, would you please make a deal for us, and we'll squeeze you a little bit if you don't, you know? Or we're trying to apply pressure on you to try and get what we want. But I think it's a matter of going there, and quite frankly, if you don't do what you want, shut the fucker down. Shut the fuckers down. You know? And if they try to have their little pretend committee hearings where they sit there and they'll lie to us, like they did at the PUC meetings, exactly what they did at the PUC meetings. It was bullshit, just like Archie Ryback's little, you know, police committee hearings, just absolute bullshit.
Oh.
Yeah, what's he talking about?
Wasn't that
Bring
amazing?
that up, that was horrible.
You know? So rather
Imagine
than
doing that every week or two for 2 years.
Oh my God.
yeah. Well, my point being is that rather than recognizing the legitimacy of Archie Ryback's little fluff games or Mark Dayton's little pretend environmental forums, go in there with the attitude of, if you don't give us what we want, we will shut the fuckers down. And even start talking about creating
Get
another
rowdy.
Wisconsin. Yeah, that's it, I'm done.
Yeah, buddy.
Okay, so Jan, then myself, and then.
Did I lose my place on staff?
Oh, were you were after me then.
I was after the direct responses, but.
Oh, well, I was actually just kind of going in a row because I thought they were all kind of direct responses, but maybe not, sorry. So I was just going around.
So, you want me to talk?
No, I want Jan to talk.
Well, anyway, yeah, Mr. Dicking has been very succinct and yeah, I have to say, I agree with a lot of what he said, and I don't.
And you think he's cute.
And I think he's cute. No, but I want to give all credit to anyone who tries to deal with the system, because I believe that